How you doing? My name is Anthony Nolan. I am the state rep for New London's 39th district, and I have the great honor of being at the Homeless Hospitality Center. The center is located on State Pier in New London, Connecticut, and I am with two wonderful people that are help the community in time of need and when it comes to housing. And I'm going to have them introduce themselves, and we're going to go into how the Homeless Hospitality Center helps residents of southeastern Connecticut. Kathy, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Kathy Zoll. I'm the executive director of the New London Homeless Hospitality Center. Been doing this about 18 years, but who's counting? I'm going to let my colleague Errol talk about some new things that we're doing, but sort of the core of what we're doing is helping people address homelessness. And so we're doing this here at State Pier Road. On the front end, somebody's newly experiencing homelessness, they can reach out to us and they have somebody to talk to. And we try to help people strategize. What could you do? Is there somewhere you could go? Is there some help we could give you? Could you stay with a relative? Could you stay with a friend? Do you have family someplace else that might be able to offer you a place to stay?
Yep.
Really be trying to talk to people and how might they address this pending homelessness. For those people that don't have options, we have an emergency shelter which provides nighttime place for people to be safe. The problem is that we're always full. We have a waiting list right now of at least 20 people who need
A waiting list of at least 20 people.
At least 20 people.
In the end of June.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but again, the idea of shelter is a place where people can feel safe. They can finally get some rest. They can get access to, showers and all the very practical things that we all take for granted. And then once people are in the shelter, or even if we're connecting with them still outside the shelter, is just to try to help people. What's a plan that can help you get out? And people are unbelievably resilient, right? And so what we just try to do is let's talk. What could you do and how could we help? Is there a resource we could connect you to? Is there some financial help? Can we help you look for a place to live? Can we, get you a new ID? And just really be trying to help people do what they're doing so well on trying to do, is to get out of homelessness.
So you guys, you don't only house people or help people get housing or temporary housing, you also collaborate with other services in the community to try and help them with other services.
Definitely. And I would say very much that we kind of try to work with the individual who's the primary driver. As we all know, we're all the primary driver of our own lives.
Yeah.
And so for some people, that the help that they need may be connection to a health resource or treatment or whatever else. Other people, all they need is a little help with getting an ID so they can get back to work, and maybe some help with a job interview. Other people may actually need our help sort of calling landlords. And I think for me, the whole thing here is to center everything we do on empowering and people helping them build their capacity, because it's just a nightmare to be very, very poor. As you know, I'm sure at all understand all of it, but it's right now, housing is so expensive, the supply is so limited. And as you know very well, Representative Nolan, we are seeing an increasing number, for example, of seniors on fixed incomes.
Yeah.
You're not just going to say to a 70-year-old, well, who can't really work, okay, why don't you just supplement your Social Security by going to work? So people are many people are in a really tough place. And we just try to work with people and help them find some kind of housing.
Yeah, it is greatly appreciated, and I know that it's a hard job to be in because people depend on you in the homeless hospitality to give them the space that they need, or try and help them find the space that they need, and that rolls into you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Can you please introduce yourself and share your position? And
I certainly can. So my name is Errol Maurice, as you know.
yes,
I am the Housing Counseling Agency Coordinator. We're actually located at 234 State Street, right here in New London. And if anything, what we do is more so of a proactive measure towards combating homelessness.
so the Homeless Hospitality Center is on State Pier.
Correct.
And your office is on
State Street.
State Street.
Right there downtown
Okay.
New London. Yes, sir. So if anything, what we do pretty much is education, really, within the community. So we perform first-time homebuyer workshops on the second Saturday of every month. Located right in our office at 34 State Street. We also provide renter education, to review tenant rights, dealing with fair rent commission cases, fair housing complaints. When folks have a ceiling that's caving in that they don't know who to connect with within the city or connecting with Ledgelight, we assist them through that process. If folks are being discriminated against, we can connect them to attorneys that are available to them.
Okay, so a lot of housing issues you help try and mediate and send them in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Could you talk about MAP, UNICT, and
Absolutely. So that's another piece of what we do. It kind of multiple jobs within one.
Yeah.
But we're also a regional hub for UNICT, in which we assist folks with eviction prevention. So in the event that the folks are dealing with eviction, they're behind on their rent for 3-4 months, 5 months, we can assist them through Department of Housing with seeking funds to kind of keep them stable in the house, to kind of repay the landlords so that they are kind of at an even scale and can kind of restart fresh and remain stable within the home. Okay. There's also a second side to that as well, where there is the Moving Assistance Program, which is also known as MAP funding, which will provide a security deposit to folks that are being evicted. However, the landlord no longer wants to work with that individual. So they can qualify for MAP 2 days later. And there's also the homeless verification portion. If they're homeless verified, they qualify for a security deposit within the community. They just need to do the legwork in finding the landlord in the community, come to our office, and we can assist them through that application and get them that security deposit.
And the security deposit can be used for them getting into a place to stay.
Correct.
When they have problems exiting the place that they're
either exiting the place or
finding.
If they're in a situation where there's domestic violence, staying in a park, sleeping in a car, sleeping outside, any way that we can help folks with this program, we do our best. And I'll tell you what, it's been rampant. I've been here since January, and we have probably assisted a couple hundred families and individuals through this program. So it's a beautiful program through the Department of Housing. Okay.
So can one of you share, how often do we see people from outside of the district? Because we sometimes, I kind of think sometimes we get burdened with out-of-towners coming and using our services, because we have some really good services in our town. But how often do you think you see people from outside?
Let me just say, on the shelter side, we are a regional resource, so we are serving all of New London County. And I think there's a very legitimate concern that the city of New London has, that the city and its firefighters and its first responders and all of those people, that there is some disproportionate impact on the city of New London. But again, it just doesn't make sense to have a shelter in New London, a shelter in Groton, shelter in Waterford, shelter in Ledyard. So I think regionalization is really important. We work actually very hard. Who's from New London County can be hard, right? Because maybe you grew up in Hartford, but then you've spent some time in New London and now you're here. But we definitely encourage people to reconnect to wherever they're from. So if somebody does come here from Hartford, from Bridgeport, from someplace like that, we work hard on getting them back, because that's where their network is. And we're not, so the overwhelming majority of people, probably 90+%, their last address was in New London County. It is not true that somehow people are traveling from all over the state to come here. That's just a perception, I think, that people have that I don't think is correct.
Okay. Now, you talked about some really important programs. I'm assuming that, never say assume, but are there workshops that people come to go to?
Yes.
So for someone that's watching that needs to know a time, and how do they reach out? Is there a number or an email address?
Absolutely. So 860-501-9900. I can also be reached on my email, emaurice, EMAURICE, at nlhhc.org.
Okay.
And if anything, send me an email. I'll send you the registration links to our workshops, and be happy to have anybody that's interested.
Okay.
And when I sit with Errol and go meet with him, there's a constant traffic into 234 State Street. So people are starting to find out where he is.
Okay. Yeah. And now for here, the Homeless Hospitality Center, how do people connect here? Because sometimes it's 211 and sometimes it's...
Well, yeah, people can call 211 and they get connected here. But we also have a phone line. You know Miss Julie Drayton.
Yes, Miss Julie.
Right, so Miss Julie Drayton is on the phone talking to people, brainstorming with people, trying to help them. So we'll get that number.
Okay. Now, for the community that might want to volunteer and or provide things of need, how do we get them to understand how to volunteer and what things that are needed to donate?
We have a website, nlhhc.org, and there's a section in there on volunteering. I think volunteering is great. There's some people that come once a week for a couple hours and help at the desk or bring us a meal or help in the help center. It's a fabulous way for people that have the time. We always need money.
Yep.
But we also have a whole variety of people that, help us with a coffee drive or with socks. Unfortunately, we don't have the space to take, clothing and things like that. But sort of on the website is a list of the things that we would love to have donated. Scouting groups, faith communities, youth groups, things like that.
So if someone wanted to do like a pizza night and donate pizzas, would they donate them here?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We do that. We've had that.
Okay. So just so people understand, they do take monetary donations.
Yes, that's the.
So that is something that I'm sure many people would appreciate. People reaching out and giving monetarily to the Homeless Hospitality Center, along with other items that might be needed that you can find on the webpage that would help out. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I would just say volunteer. If you think about it, come for a tour. On the website, our volunteer coordinator's name is Anna Perch, because I think, again, that people tell me over and over and over who volunteers that I never knew. I thought homelessness was something alien. But you know what? I was volunteering and I saw my former next door neighbor or my person I went to high school with, and I think that's one of the things we need to do is we need to start seeing that we are all part of this community, housed, unhoused, and there's something about volunteering that I think just brings that to the heart as opposed to something that you kind of think about. So again, come bring a meal, come volunteer once in a while. I don't know. I just encourage people to try that who have the ability and the time.
Yeah. So being that the Homeless Hospitality Center sometimes is full, is there an estimate in regards to numbers that you can share, or is it just different on a regular basis?
You mean as to how many people?
That you can house?
So we have 40 people here at the shelter, and I think you're probably familiar. In the winter, we have what's called a no freeze, so that we leave nobody outside on our busiest night this past winter, and we never had this many. We had 50 people.
Wow.
We had 40 people in the shelter and 50 people in the no freeze. And I hate to say this, but the homelessness is becoming a bigger problem, unfortunately, than it even had been, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're just struggling, trying to figure out how to, we don't want to leave people on the street, right? We don't want to leave people living in their cars. So we're working really, really hard at it.
Yeah. From your outlook, I mean, you've talked about the services and that you're providing, and you said that you had some people have experienced your services. Can you share a little bit about those people?
Boy, I'll tell you what, a big thing, some of the powerful testimonies, helping the 75-year-old grandmother, right, who's going through a Fair Rent Commission case or doesn't even know that a Fair Rent Commission even exists in her town, where she was being charged $1,000 for rent. And then, the landlord says, hey, look, you know what? We want $1,800 for the next lease. But she's on a fixed income of $2,300 a month, Social Security. Being able to help her navigate that whole system and going through the mediation, and now her rent is going to be about $1,150 because of that mediation that occurred and stuff like that. And for them to come back and just smile on their face and feeling like they hit the lottery. Situations like that are a blessing. Helping those folks that were, maybe staying in their car and get that security deposit and being able to move into their apartment, and just, the tears that come down their eyes and just being in jubilation of having an opportunity. Those are the blessings that we see within our office and the cases that we deal with on a daily basis.
So I'm sure there's going to be some legislators that peek at this video. How can legislators help you with what you have going on? Because I know that there's many people from other districts that share the services that you provide. So what can you tell us about how we can help?
Yeah, so this is a very big picture, but I feel that from a legislative point of view, doing something about making it easier to build affordable housing.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of resources from what I can see. I think the Department of Housing and others want to invest in affordable housing. And I'm afraid the way that our structure of zoning and of permitting and of everything else is making it very, very hard to build. And I think that's a kind of a legislative thing, because that's where leadership, and I know there's complicated issues. I understand the passion people have for local control. It's not an easy issue. But this is where I think the legislature, as our representatives, really could take the lead. And then, of course, we're always advocating. We're very appreciative of the legislative help. We got some allocation for winter funding this coming winter. But every year we sit on the edge of our seats waiting to see if we're going to have money to run winter no freeze. I would be so grateful if the legislature would say, in a rich state like the state of Connecticut, we should be able to have not people die outside in the cold, and that costs money.
Right.
So I would love to see that annualized as opposed to sitting on the edge of the seat. And again, the Department of Housing Commissioner, I think, advocated strongly with legislators on our behalf, which we're very grateful for. So, but I think those are the ones that pop into my mind as far as legislative.
Okay.
I'm going to say ditto, but if anything, just exactly what you're doing, Representative Nolan. You know, it's visibility, bringing homelessness and our services to light, right? Just marketing out there and taking it serious, and just letting folks know what we do here, how important it is, and how it truly impacts folks.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate having the opportunity to talk with you. And you said that you had a couple ladies that have real life experience with the services.
Absolutely, yes.
Can you share their names or?
Yes. One is Christina and one is Candace.
Okay.
I think we helped these young ladies a couple months ago and whatnot. And it was amazing to help these young ladies. They've been able to move forward, are stable within their new dwellings, and if anything, shout out to the services that that we do, that my team does on a daily basis.
Okay.
Being able to help these folks.
So Christina and Candace.
Correct.
So we're going to talk with Christina and Candace for a short moment. We'll be right back with you. How you doing? Back again. This time we have a new group of friends here at the Homeless Hospitality Center, and I'm going to have them introduce yourself. We're going to start all the way to the right, where we have someone who's right at the intake, right at the door that people walk in to get assistance. So can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your position and what you do?
Yes, my name is Benita Christian. I work for the Homeless Hospitality Center for 1 year, and I sit at the desk. I answer the phone. People that come in and need intake or any kind of help at the help center, I help them and I direct them. I also transfer phone calls. Sometimes when people come in here and look really down, I try to lift them up with the words, and I'm not a smiler, but I will smile at you if I see that you're a little down.
Yeah.
But I just assist people, and I've been doing this for a while, not only at the shelter, other places also. And I love what I do. I do like helping people, even though sometimes it get very overwhelming.
So at times, I'm sure people come in distressed and stressed.
Yes.
And you being at the front line, you have a lot to do with that person really relieving themselves of all that, sometimes anxiety and stuff.
Yes.
So that is something good. Your position is really important. So I want to say thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Because it can't be easy for people to walk through that door sometimes.
Yeah.
And to see you there, welcoming them, is a good seat to be in, but sometimes challenging because you have to deal with the anger, the sorrow, and sometimes the difficulties that many of them go through.
And sometimes I get a little emotional behind certain situations myself.
Yeah.
So, because I'm a human.
No, yeah. But that's what we have to remember. We're all human, right?
Right.
So, what you do is amazing. So I want to make sure you understand that we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next to you, we have two people that have experienced the services that are provided. So you want to introduce yourselves and share how, you have been involved with the Homeless Hospitality
Hi, my
Center?
name is Candace Smith, and I have contacted and found resources moving from Norwich back to New London. I had lived in London years ago
Yeah.
for a year, and I left, and I came back and found myself still in disarray, trying to find a place to live that was affordable.
Now, what's
Yeah.
affordable to you?
Affordable is $800 a month,
Okay.
but on a fixed income, it's not.
It's very challenging.
It's highly challenging.
Yeah.
But there are resources, and part now the people that help me as far as resources is I came to the hospitality center. I went to 234 State Street, and I found the most phenomenal human being. His name was
Mm-hmm.
and the services were there. While I was looking for him, it was leaving me like up in the air, because upon using the services, I'm changing my whole entire life,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm dealing with people on the street, me, and mental health at the same time. Dealing with a lot of people that I'm encountering, I'm finding out that they have a lot of mental health going on. And it's hard, and it's very hard for people with mental health to find housing.
So you were able to see that the Homeless Hospitality Center collaborated with
Exactly.
services that provided that help?
Yes.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
And how are you doing now compared to how you were prior?
I'm in my own apartment.
Okay.
Highly blessed, highly favored, and all I can do is just help the next person.
Well, that's
That's
great
all
to
I
hear.
can do.
That's that humanity that we
Yeah.
just talked about a moment
But the
ago.
resources are definitely there in the people, and it's good people.
Yes.
And you know, a lot of people today look at people. It's not the package. It's the heart in the package.
Amen.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I thank you for sharing, because that's important for people to know and
Yes.
hear. And ma'am, could you introduce yourself and share a little bit about, how you've been helped and what you saw when you were getting help?
My name's Christina, and I was homeless for about 4 months. I was almost at the point where I had to end up living in my vehicle. And by the grace of God, I found out about the New London Homeless Hospitality Center. And I'm sorry that I'm a little teary. It's just,
It's okay.
it's, people have to wake up and understand. I mean, this is a really big issue. It's not, it's a very big homelessness situation, and a lot of people chose to, they chose to close their eyes and look the other way, and something's got to be done about that. It can happen to anybody.
That's right.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Literally, just, I'm making it my mission to somehow hopefully try and help in any which way that I can, because good people, bad circumstances happen to good people.
Correct.
And they cannot be judged for their past mistakes, especially when they're trying to better themselves and trying to better their future. And how does this government truly, honestly expect people to live off of the bare wages that they make? For the love of God, where I was living, you want to know what affordable housing was over there? About $2,600 a month.
Right.
How is anyone supposed to be able to pay that? Plus food in their mouths, plus pay their bills. It's just, I was so lucky, and I'm so thankful that I found this organization, because they were able to assist me, and I now have my own room. It's my own Taj Mahal, and I'm loving it. And I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. And I just beg of you people, please, for the love of God, have some compassion, have some empathy, instead of just walking past these homeless people. Have some compassion. You never know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I'm emotional.
No
That's
apologies
for
needed. We're appreciative that you were able to give a short testimony in regards to, your situation and how it is important for people to open their eyes, especially legislators
They have
and those
to.
leaders in our communities, to make sure that we do take care of our folk.
You have to.
Yeah.
Come on, we're all human beings. When it all comes down, we're all from the human race. I'm so sick and tired of hearing all this nonsense that's currently on. I don't give a who, what your color is, sexuality is, nationality is. I don't care. We all bleed the same color.
Yeah.
We are all from the human race. Be kind to each other. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And I think I might be asking for too much, but I digress. You take
That's all
over,
right.
sir.
That's all right. So, one of the important things that were mentioned is like affordability, because as we know, there are some great apartments going up, but those great apartments are market rate apartments. And then after market rate comes affordable housing. But after affordable housing comes real people level. And then beyond that, you have low income. So we need to really come up with some definitions so that we can really establish the need in regards to housing, because when you need to help people with housing, you can't say that you're putting up affordable housing and think that it's for all people, because that real people level is not to that affordable level. And then you got the mixed rate level that is for those that can afford the mixed rate level. And then you have our low income neighbors also. So we have to do better jobs as legislators and community leaders, our housing authorities, to make sure that people are taken care of. So I want to thank you for coming before us today. We're going to wrap up with Rollin with Rep. Nolan. And I do want to give one more phone number, 860-580-6800. That is the number to the hub for the Homeless Hospitality Center, where you can get contact and put through many services, especially through a young lady down there named Julie Drayton that really works towards making sure that people get what they need. So, yes.
My name is Miss Judy.
Miss Judy.
Yes.
Aha, Miss Judy Drayton. Thank you so much for your hard work. And this is Rollin with Rep. Nolan. Thank you very much. Have a good day.